Seagram, I'd still be debating with them to get our bourbon back in the U.S. And so our experience has been good. Seagram was the best company in the world, so that's concerned.
None of the ones that taste
But it's gone, and
trying to pick the best two.
our relationship with Karen has been good. Back in the
So
U.S.
I visited the Lawrenceburg facility back in 2005. It was on a Sunday, so everybody was closed.
Lawrenceburg, Kentucky?
Yeah.
Okay.
But back then, was the bourbon
Just a neat experience.
good? Or I mean, I wasn't really into bourbon then, so I don't know. This is 8 years ago.
Bourbon was private.
Yeah.
Nobody knew it here.
Right.
It was all going overseas. We were just getting back into the U.S.
Got
back
it.
then.
Okay. Yeah, because
There's some glass
I'd never
down
heard of it. We passed by. We were driving across the country.
Because all you ever heard of, you heard Four Roses at all, was negative.
It's like a Jewish wedding.
Exactly.
Isn't that a big part of why the international interest just the green flavor? I know that it was a lot bigger overseas than it was here at the time. That a lot of the
What you talking about, just specifically
Japan, like I'm talking about
Four Roses?
right? Yeah,
Just the only Well, that we were number one in most European countries and Japan, but nobody here. They said, what? That's Rush gun? Because all people remember was liquid.
Yeah, just push the button.
So Jim, we had a question. There was a private selection barrel strength that was actually less than 100 proof.
There's a lot more.
How does that happen? Is there a leak in the barrel or
No,
something?
a leak in the barrel would just go up.
Yeah.
A lot of barrels leak. When you factor in 4.4% loss as an industry through the aging process, that includes soakage the first year would be around 10%, evaporation through the years, and also factored in some leakage. Some barrels leak. We had to replace number 8 barrel today when got here we were short a barrel, but we looked at opened the barrel and it was empty, almost empty.
Yeah.
So we replaced it. That happened.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. What were you?
Proof lower than the.
Well, we were talking earlier.
Significantly lower than the entry
I don't think
proof.
you were here when we were talking about it earlier.
Oh, you all right? Yeah. Multi-story is more dramatic because we've built a single story to reduce 35 plus degree temperature differentials down to 6 or 7 degrees. But even at single story, 6 or 7 degrees, we will fill our barrels at 120 proof.
I really like
The barrels on the 6th tier, the top tier, will always gain strength during the aging process. The bottom tier will lose strength. The 2nd tier will lose strength, but not as much as the bottom. The 5th tier will gain not as much as the 6th tier. So this is just a 6 or 7 degree temperature differential. So ethyl alcohol vaporizes at lower temperatures than water. So down at the bottom, you've got your lowest temperatures, it's mostly ethyl alcohol. Also, the first year of aging, the vapor in the barrel is ethyl alcohol, the soakage is mostly ethyl alcohol. The proof will all drop on the first year of aging. Then, down lower, you've got H2O, and 2C2H508 for ethyl alcohol. Down here you've got more ethyl alcohol, but even at the 7 degree temperature differential in ours is far more dramatic in multi-story. But as you go out, you're vaporizing more water because it's hotter and getting warmer, and so more water, and then you've got water and ethyl alcohol at the top, and the water will escape quicker than the ethyl alcohol, so the strength goes up. Bottom, it's going to go down. So that barrel, we've only allowed one barrel selected by Party Source and Jay Ertzman. He loved the barrel so much.
Jay, yeah.
And he was upset where that barrel was sold. The Party Source.
Lower than 100 proof because
It was just 99.
yeah, I think it was really
Jay
close.
was able to describe it. He's a bourbon geek, bourbon connoisseur.
Jay loves
described
bourbon.
it on the side, his label on the side of the bottle, and of course you could only get so much on the label, but he understood and could explain why to his consumers why that barrel was lower than 100 proof.
Yeah.
And that was from the bottom,
So-
an older barrel, at a cool spot. And
Yep. Sounds like it rarely happens though.
the older it gets, we don't allow it to go out. But if something's in the warehouse for a lot of years, and the bottom tiers They were generally be 100 proof or less. I've seen them at 90 proof, but we don't put them on the market.
Right.
We'll use them in something else.
It typically wouldn't get sold as a special
won't.
single barrel barrel proof release.
Only that one time
Huh.
it happened.
Very interesting.
And that's because it was Jay that was requesting.
Jay's a
And
good
if
guy.
You know Jay, he wouldn't say take no for an answer.
Well, if he likes what he wants, he'll get it. He'll get
Well,
it.
he loved the barrel. And,
Yeah.
but we also knew he could explain why it happened.
Sure.
The chemistry and it's heat related.
Just a little shout out to the party source.
And
Jay know what the hell he's doing.
but we have quite a few barrels. This past year's the second year in a row, both 2012 and 2013 limited edition small batch both selected American Whiskey of the Year. They both had some of the 17-year-old, 12, and 18-year-old OBSB, and we're running out of these barrels. Everything that bourbon touched turned to gold. It seemed like it was unbelievable. We had a limited edition single barrel. But 2010. But anyway, we knew the only barrels we had left were on the bottom tiers. But the recipe, when I smelled and tasted the recipe, we had some really good recipes this past year, and it was just out of this world. But it was a risky business when we decided to use some of these barrels because we knew they were all under 100 proof. Down the bottom tiers, aged so long. That's why the limited edition small batch is 103 point,
Yeah, it's
whatever.
It's pretty low.
Very low because we wanted to use the older OBSB, the 18-year-old, because of how it improved the flavor. But we were afraid. I don't know what we'd have done had it been below 100 proof. But it came close. It was 103 proof, so we've used all that we can. We'll see more of that.
So on those limited releases, I mean, you feel you need to keep it above 100 proof, or I mean,
We always do because
Yeah.
people don't understand. It's perception.
it's more of a perception
Yeah,
than
exactly. I mean, they're great.
Yeah.
Really, really good. But
Yeah,
you can also put them in at, say, you bottle something at, put it on the bottle 90 proof or 86 proof or whatever. We can do something like that, and not know that we only had to reduce them slightly. With,
right. I'm surprised to hear it's so market driven. I mean, I know you guys would sell any limited edition release easily, whatever you put out, as long as it's good.
But it's explaining, just like right now, explaining how can that happen at barrel strength.
Well, I think the question was your typical single barrel release is 100 proof, and this one private selection barrel proof had dropped below that. But it's easily explainable. I mean, I think anybody with some knowledge of the industry understands what happens.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay. Give me more.